Hey everyone, Drew Hinton with Aero Safety back with another Work Tip Wednesday. Today we're going to discuss working from heights, specifically the rescue plan side of things. So performing that rescue is a very technical type of rescue. So some of you may refer to it as a high angle rescue, some of you may refer to it as a rescue from heights, whatever you refer to that as. If you are wearing or utilizing a personal fall arrest system, you are required to have a rescue plan in place. Now what that rescue plan entails is up to you as an employer of what you deem to be adequate based on your site-specific hazards. So you can look at some of the OSHA standards. Are going to tell you have to have a rescue plan in place. But one of your good go-to standards here is going to be the ANSI Z359.2. So if you look at the Z359.2 standard, it will discuss evaluating your rescue services. So whether that's in-house, whether you're doing a self-rescue, so you're providing people with maybe a self-rescue pack, or you are maybe doing assisted rescue, also referred to as in-house rescue. So assisted rescue could be maybe you have the capability to go above the person and drop down a rescue ladder, which those aren't the easiest things to maneuver, but it is an option. Or maybe it's as simple as grabbing an aerial lift or scissor lift, going up underneath the person that's hanging, and actually just raising up and getting them out of that situation. You can also in-house train your employees to be technical rescue specialists. So we do a lot of training across the country, training companies and organizations from the industrial side on how to perform high angle rescues from their industrial sites. And then the third option, of course, is going to be that professional rescue services. So this is typically going to be your fire department, your local fire department, but also some areas of the country are going to have EMS-based rescue agencies. Now, one benefit to the ANSI Z359.2 standard, there's obviously many benefits, but one of the big benefits related to this is that it gives you criteria to evaluate and step-by-step process to evaluate your local fire department. Coming from technical rescue background with the fire department, it's typically not the greatest thing you can rely on in order to make that rescue take place. So if you do want to evaluate your local fire department, again, refer to that ANSI Z359.2 standard. It's going to tell you that they're going to have to come out to your site, do a site-specific walkthrough, right? Because they have NFPA 101 requires them to do generic pre-planning, but they cannot pre-plan for every single facility in their district. So if you're going to rely on them to be your rescue service, you have to have them come out to your site, do a physical walkthrough, and then once they do that physical walkthrough, they will come up with their game plan specific to your operations. They'll do their own hazard assessment, and then they will provide it to you in writing. So Z359.2 requires them to provide to you in writing what their plans and procedures are. And then you as an employer have to evaluate that. Is it adequate or is it not? If it's adequate, then you're going to be able to post that and make sure everybody affected by that is communicated of the procedures, what the rescue plans are. But in a lot of situations, it's not. Only about 36% of fire departments across the country have technical rescue capabilities. So maybe you're in an area that does have that, maybe you're not. Make sure that you're checking with your local fire department, so make those evaluations. But again, there are other options that are more likely to have a better rescue. One thing that's also in that ANSI Z359.2 standard is a 6-minute rescue goal. So they're going to tell you the standard for that. So how quickly do I want to make contact with that person hanging in the air by the harness? It's going to give you a 6-minute rescue goal, right? So can I get to that patient and start relieving some of that pressure within 6 minutes, 360 seconds, however you want to put that, right? Time goes by very, very rapidly when there is an incident, because unless we're sitting right next to the person, we're probably not going to see it happen right away. Even if we are, we still have to go get the equipment, unless we got a stage right there at the area, which would be great. But in most cases, people have to go get the equipment, whether across the job site, in another room, another apartment, come over there, set it up, try to make that rescue. Now you can put suspension trauma straps on there. Those are not a form of rescue. That's just to delay the onset of that suspension trauma syndrome, orthostatic intolerance, however you want to refer to that as. So it's not really a form of rescue per se, but it helps delay that onset. Because there's been studies out there to say that suspension trauma syndrome can kick in as little as 7 minutes. So I'd like to think that 6-minute ANSI guideline and the 7-minute suspension trauma syndrome kicking in kind of goes hand in hand. So we really want to make sure that we can provide it. And that 6-minute goal kind of ties into the local fire department. Again, that professional rescue agency. Can they get there in 6 minutes, get set up, get access to them? Most likely not. Even if they're next door, by the time it gets communicated to 911, 911 dispatches them out. They go get all their equipment ready. They get on the apparatus, get on the truck company, engine company, whatever it is, and respond, get set up. Most likely going to be more than 6 minutes. So again, you can look at all these OSHA standards, but the big key thing here is in the big kind of golden standard is going to be your ANSI Z359.2 standard. It's going to have a lot of rescue plan criteria, but whatever rescue plan you do, make sure it's in writing, make sure it's communicated to everyone, and everyone is aware of that. And it's a good thing to make sure that you also review that with them from the aspect of seeing if they're okay with it. If your employees don't feel comfortable with it, it's probably a good idea to go and reevaluate your situation, because if they're not comfortable with it, we as safety professionals shouldn't be comfortable with it either. So again, make sure you have a documented rescue plan in place anytime you are utilizing a personal fall arrest system. So I have a potential fall, I have to have that in place. Make sure it's evaluated, make sure your employees are comfortable with that, make sure they're okay with whatever plan you have in place, and then make sure whatever it is, you're constantly evaluating your situation, because job site to job site, facility to facility, that rescue plan may change. Maybe I can do assisted or self-rescue here in this part of the building, and then I go to a different job site, especially on a construction site, go to a different job site, different department, even different facility within the same company. Maybe I don't have the capability to do that self and assisted rescue, so maybe I need to bring in on-site rescue services. So again, evaluate rescue services, get the documented rescue plan in place, properly communicate it, and then continuously reevaluate that. So appreciate everybody's time. Have a great day.